In this video, we're going to look at the application problems for this lesson, and in our first one, we see a table of temperatures given in Fahrenheit for 5 cities at 6 a.m. on the same day. And we're asked to use the table to answer some questions. So we see the temperatures there, some are positive, some are negative, and our first question, we're told by noon the temperature in Buffalo has risen by 9 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has risen by 9 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and circle Buffalo up here. So what is the temperature there at noon? So it's risen by 9 degrees. Our operation is going to be addition. So we're starting off at -4. That's 6 a.m. And we're rising by 9, so we're going to add 9 degrees. And that will bring us up to 5 degrees. Now, the rule is, for addition, when the signs are different, and this is just the rule for addition, when the signs are different, we are supposed to subtract and keep the sign of the larger. So subtracting the 4 and the 9 gives us the 5, keeping the sign of the larger gives us the positive. Now for the second question, how much higher was the 6 a.m. temperature in San Antonio than in Nome? So we are now looking at San Antonio, which is 73 degrees, and Nome, which is -32 degrees. And our question is, how much higher is it in San Antonio than in Nome? So we're going to be doing subtraction. So I'm going to set this up as a subtraction problem. I'm going to take the higher temperature, the 73 in San Antonio, and I'm going to subtract the lower temperature, which is a -32 in Nome. Now, our situation calls for subtraction, but our rule says that when we are subtracting, we want to actually change that to addition. We keep the first one the same, and we change the operation behind it to addition, and we change the sign behind that to a positive. So we kept, changed, and now we have an addition problem. So our addition problem is 73 plus 32. The signs are the same, so we add and keep the sign for 105 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the difference between San Antonio at 73 and Nome at -32. In our next application, we're told the liquid hydrogen in the space shuttle's main engine is -423 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature in the engine's combustion chamber reaches 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're asked to find the difference between the two. And when we're finding the difference, we want to start off with the larger one, which is 6,000, and subtract the smaller one, which is -423. So just like before, subtracting a negative, we're going to change the subtraction to addition, change the negative to a positive. And now that we have addition, we know that we are to add and keep the sign. So adding gives us 6,423. Keeping the sign means it's still positive, and this is also degrees Fahrenheit. That's the difference between those two locations. In the next application, we have temperatures again, this time on the moon, and we're told that the temperatures on the moon range from -184 degrees Celsius during the night to a +214 degrees Celsius during the day, but again we're asked to find the difference between them. And when we're looking for the difference, we want to start off with the larger one, and we want to subtract the smaller one. That is how we find the difference. So the larger one in this case is a positive 214. The smaller one is a negative 184. And we turn our subtraction into addition by changing it to addition, changing the sign behind it. And again, we're adding, the signs are the same, so we add and keep the sign. 398 degrees Celsius difference between the night and day on the moon. One last application. This time we're told a nurse takes a patient's temperature at 3 p.m. and it is 98 degrees Fahrenheit. 4 hours later, she took the patient's temperature again. This time it was 104 degrees. How much did the patient's temperature rise during the 4 hours? How much did it rise? So that's another way of saying what's the difference. So how much did it rise? We take the larger one, 104, and we subtract the smaller one, 98. We don't have any signs here, so we may be tempted just to subtract it. But I'm going to go ahead and use our rules that say keep the first one the same, change subtraction to addition, change the sign behind it, and then now that we have addition, since the signs are different, we're supposed to subtract and keep the sign of the larger, which is the positive. So 6 degrees Fahrenheit. That is how much the patient's temperature has risen.